especially human rights abusing regimes.
So is the aim to try to block this in reverse and turn away the Newcastle?
I think there's 3 steps.
So we're here at our regular haunt outside of St James's Park, but today is anything but regular. This is not a Newcastle United home game. This is an international football match featuring Saudi Arabia versus Costa Rica. Now, we're going to be speaking to a lot of fans. A lot of fans have travelled a long distance to be here. We're going to see exactly how they feel on the Newcastle ownership. On the Saudi League, we'll also be seeing there's a protest not too far from iShot in here, protesting against Saudi Arabian ownership of Newcastle. We're going to speak to them, find out exactly what they're talking about, and see the signs at Sports Washing, and they have just been speaking to Sky Sports as well. Going to be speaking to fans, see exactly what their thoughts are on international football being held here at St James's Park, what the fan base is like in Saudi Arabia for Newcastle, and also what this does for Newcastle is increase the financial fair play. This increases revenue, matchday revenue into Newcastle, which is only beneficial for Newcastle United spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Let us see for you.
What?
Your first Saudi match?
Yeah.
And why have you come out today? Obviously, if you're Newcastle fans, what's
All
your
the
attraction?
Saudis.
Yeah. They've done a lot for Newcastle. You got a connection with them?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
And what's your score prediction today?
How much have they got?
1.
2-1.
2-1, yeah. You can see opposite, there's a little bit of controversy going on, a lot of protests and stuff like that. It's kind of been a dark cloud over Newcastle since the takeover has happened. Does that, as a Newcastle fan, does that affect you? They've obviously done so much for the club.
They aren't Newcastle fans, if that's the case. They aren't Newcastle fans.
So anyone who's protesting, not a true fan.
No, definitely not.
Okay, and then Saudi Arabia, we've seen their league. It's been crackers over this transfer window in particular. What's your thoughts on the influx to
Still not as good as the Premier League, is it?
No. Do you reckon it ever will?
Nah, definitely not.
No. Where can it go? How far?
Maybe as far as La Liga,
Yeah.
if that.
So it's like second, do you reckon?
Nah, definitely.
Yeah. Who's your favourite Newcastle player?
That's hard. I like all of them.
All of them. How far can Newcastle go this season? Where do you reckon we'll finish?
Win the league.
Win the league. There we go. Perfect. With the Saudi owners as well, there's obviously there's more chances of them fetching internationals like this. It just means there's more money in the coffers as well for financial fair play. Is this a great financial decision for Newcastle having international?
Definitely 100%. But it's not just about the Saudi money; it's about Newcastle as well, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
100%.
It's also, we can see behind it, a lot of Saudis have come specifically over for this match as well. Fantastic relationship between the two.
Proves what Newcastle means to everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah, everyone seems to be loving it. It seems to be generating a huge fan base. Do you reckon that'll develop more and more as time goes as well?
100%. If we can develop in the Champions League, then it should be even better again.
Yeah. Do you reckon, obviously, international, do you reckon that's a big fan base that we can get now with Champions League
Well, you
football?
can see here yourself, there's a load of Saudis here anyway, so
Yeah.
that just speaks for itself, doesn't it?
And then Champions League, obviously, we've got the group of death. What's your thoughts on how far, honestly, do you reckon we can go in the...
Win the group,
Win it, yeah? And then what? How far do you reckon?
win the Champions League.
Got a very optimistic back. Right, well, enjoy the game, guys. Thank you very much for your time, mate. Thank you very much. What's your name? So we're here with...
Hello.
What's your thoughts on this match? You go to regular matches?
I go to regular matches. Yes, I do.
What are your thoughts? This is the first time you beat us in James's in
Yeah, it's
England?
my first time. My first time to be here in Newcastle in that amazing stadium.
Yeah.
I was always wanted to come here. I'm from Manchester,
Okay.
so I go over there a lot of stadiums, but it's my first time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a friendly game, but I'm gonna come again.
Perfect. And what's your thoughts on Saudi Arabia being outside of Saudi Arabia in an international game? Obviously, there's connections with Newcastle, deep-rooted connections now. What's your thoughts on that?
Actually, it feels, I don't know how to say, but it feels like home. Yeah, being here and attending a game for Saudi Arabia. So it's like I'm in Qatar attending in the World Cup. So nice feeling, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And obviously with Saudi Arabia, more so in the league, there's been a lot of superstars. The league has just gone absolutely crazy this season. What's
Yeah.
your thoughts on that, and how far can the Saudi league really go?
Actually, it's gonna be one of, I mean, maybe not this year, but upcoming years we're gonna be on the top leagues in the world. Of course, because of the names that we bought in Saudi Arabia League. But basically, before those names came in, it was a very famous league in the area. So we love football. We raised up loving football, just like England, for example.
Is that one of the national sports now, or is that?
No. It's always been like it's always been. We are all for football, but no one knows about us. I mean, locally we are famous, like in the Gulf area, Arabic area, it's famous. But now the word eyes came toward us because of the big names. So yeah, amazing feeling actually. Yeah.
You're from Manchester as well, living in Manchester. Is that where you've travelled from today?
Yes.
Yeah, so are you a fan at all of Newcastle as well? Obviously, you're outside Newcastle. You've said you've not been to St James's, but because of the connection, I don't know if there's maybe an increase in fan base kind of with Newcastle.
To be honest, I'm a Man United fan,
Okay.
Yeah.
Against you.
but just because I'm from
Near it,
Manchester,
yeah.
yeah, in the area. But when but I watch the Premier League, so I know the amazing job that Newcastle did, ending in the third position, getting in the Champions
League,
yeah. So I'm keeping an eye. Maybe I'll be a fan, but I'm supporting.
And then with the event and with the Newcastle takeover as well, there was controversy about what's happening in Saudi Arabia. Do you think that's unjust, or how would you kind of tackle that?
I didn't get that.
So there's a lot of controversy when the Newcastle owners came in. A lot of controversy. Do you think that's deserved? Do you think not? Do you think football should be kept apart?
No.
What's your thoughts on it?
No. I think there was before the starting of the last year, but by the end, all that controversy gone. Like they proved themselves. So yeah.
Yeah. And you're a big Man U fan. What was Ronaldo? Because obviously he went over to Saudi as well. What are your thoughts on that? He was the first one that really did it. The first big superstar.
Yeah. To be honest, in Saudi Arabia, he went to my not favorite team, I would say.
The opposition.
The opposition. Yeah. I was always a Ronaldo fan. Mm-hmm. So I'm with Real Madrid, with Man United. Then when he went to Saudi Arabia, he went to the other team. But that doesn't change my opinion about him. But yeah, he did an amazing. He started the transformation, would say. Yeah.
He did. Yeah. With the Saudi national side as well. So obviously you're getting a lot of imported stars to your league. Do you think in retro that your international team will kind of do better as a result? Do you think that's?
Hopefully, this is like what we hope for. Yeah, because they will interact with more of superstar players, so they can get that experience from them.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm hoping. I can't make sure that will happen, but we'll see. Especially with the coach. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a great coach we're having now. So hopefully, yeah. This is what I'm gonna see today.
And what's your expectation of the match as well and score prediction?
To be honest, I don't know Costa Rica's performance, but I hope for Saudi Arabia team to win. That's what I'm coming for. But hopefully, yes. Yeah.
And what's your thoughts of Newcastle if you've not been before as well?
I loved it. I walked around the city centre, so I loved it. It has.
Newcastle United fans against Sports Washing. The club set up to oppose the ruling dictatorship which owns this country.
Right. Okay. So we're here with.
John Hurd.
And what are you doing here today? We see the signs, but what are you doing?
Okay, we're making a protest against our stadium, St James's Park, the home of Newcastle United, being used as a giant billboard by the Saudi regime, which is trying to execute young people under 18. The pictures we've got today are of 9 young men who were arrested when they were 13 and 14 for crimes such as protesting, like we are doing today. Then they were tortured into making confessions with inverted commas, and they've been put on death row. They're not terrorists. These are young people who are fighting for their rights. And we don't think that our club, that our stadium, which is actually owned by the council, should be used as a giant billboard to deflect attention away from the many human rights abuses of the Saudi regime. It's as simple as that.
So the takeover has already happened. When the takeover happened, there was a lot of controversy and stuff like that. What is your group hoping to achieve?
Well, things are changing quite rapidly, because when the Saudi state took over, they gave these so-called binding legal assurances that the PIF had nothing to do with the Saudi state. Now they don't even bother denying that. It's actually come out in America. Everybody knows with the Live Golf controversy, they've actually admitted that the Newcastle chairman, Yasser Al-Rumayyan, is a minister in the Saudi government. This government which is taking away the rights and oppressing young people, women, gay people in Saudi Arabia. Now, Today, actually, some news has just come out that Premier League clubs, it was in the Guardian today, are actually worried about the nation states owning football clubs. And actually, there's a debate going on. It's in a white paper in Parliament. It's actually they're going to. Thinking about strengthening the clause of the owners and directors test to make it illegal for nation states to own clubs, and especially human rights abusing regimes like the Saudi regime. So our message to Newcastle fans is that this, as we warned at the beginning, is not forever. It's possible that it just could all collapse. There's only two teams in the Premier League which are owned by dictatorships. That's Manchester City and Newcastle United. And it seems like football is moving away from allowing nation states to own clubs. It's a disaster. And it's not just about Newcastle, it's about the whole football. That's what we're fighting for. We've got a lot of fans from other clubs who are getting in touch and saying, we don't want our league, the Premier League, to turn into like some sort of Middle Eastern political game. You know, a few years ago, Qatar and Saudi Arabia were preparing for war. That's Newcastle are playing Paris Saint-Germain soon. That would be like, you know, imagine asking football fans, put them in the middle of all that to say you have to choose between Qatar and Saudi Arabia. It's wrong. Football clubs shouldn't be owned by nation states, and especially human rights abusing regimes.
So is the aim to try to block this in reverse and turn away the Newcastle?
I think there's 3 steps. Pre-takeover commitments. And the pre-takeover commitments were that nothing would stop them talking about human rights. 2 years have gone by, and we are the only ones talking about these young miners on death row. We are the only ones who are talking about Salma al-Shabaab, Nora al-Qatali, 2 women jailed for 45 and 27 years for tweeting. We've got the right to tweet. There's a guy here from a pro-regime fanzine who's gone through our Twitter accounts to find out dirt about our campaign. It's very simple, our campaign. Very, very simple. We don't want a dictatorship in our club. Second step would be, let's see what the Saudis say. Let's see what the Saudis who own this club say. When we start protesting and raising the names of the people who are oppressed. And I think the third thing is to look at the wider question that basically nation-state ownership of clubs doesn't have a future. It doesn't have a future. Now, I think the sooner Newcastle fans accept that, the better.
So just touching on the first one in particular, because obviously if you're a Newcastle fan yourself,
of course, I've been all my life, yeah.
Under Mike Ashley, we know attendances were down. He was trying to do a lot to try to get fans on. At the moment, myself being a fan as well, I know tickets are like gold dust kind of thing.
Yeah.
Are you getting a lot of response from fans in terms of?
Well, you know what's changed. At first, I think football fans Newcastle fans were a bit sort of. Like me, dancing in the street when Ashley went. But I don't think the majority of people understood the implications of Newcastle being owned by a bloody dictatorship. It's great. Newcastle are doing better. It's like we had a meeting on Tuesday with Lena Alathwo, and her sister was put in prison. Abused. Now she's free with a tag on. She can't leave the country. And Lena said, she says, look, you enjoy your club, enjoy your football, but at least go into the stadium with a banner. Go into the stadium and say the names of the Saudi women who are being oppressed. Say the name of her sister, and let's see what the owners say. Because this is Newcastle. We still have the right to protest. We actually on this protest today on social media, some people were saying, if you come, we'll beat you up. We were threatened. Now,
is that Newcastle fans? Or?
Well, what I would like to say is, we would like to think that it's not Newcastle fans. Our experience is that the vast majority of Newcastle fans support our right to protest, and I think we are the ones who are grown. Our section of fans has grown. The small minority of Newcastle fans who stand up for the Saudi state, not for the Saudi football team, the ordinary fans, but the Saudi state. Are very small. Vast majority of fans in the middle. But the message to those fans is, well, let's do what we said we're going to do before the takeover, and that was hold the owners to account. Now, thank you very much.
Okay, so we're here before the match with.
Yeah, I'm with Saudi Arabia. I'm actually from Kuwait. Kuwait is near Saudi Arabia, So I'm supporting our brothers.
Yeah, perfect. And is a YouTube channel as well? People can go?
Yeah, sure. We can go on our YouTube channel. You sound like have very good channel as well.
Yeah, no, it's Northeast Updates. Yeah. We're growing. So you're here before the match. What's your expectations of the game today?
Yeah, I think it's more important to get experience from this game and to improve. Yeah, Costa Rica was at the World Cup. They beat Japan there. Maybe they were out of the group stages, but I think from this experience we will get more experience and hopefully Saudi Arabia improve. And we will have another game as well. Yeah, I have seen Jürgen Klinsmann, the manager of South Korea, so maybe he will be looking at Saudi Arabia today.
Yeah. So you mentioned about hoping that you improve. Your league is developing at a rapid rate because of money, and you're getting all these superstars and everything in. Do you feel that will have a knock-on effect and should make the national team develop because you're playing with better players, you've got better coaches over there now? Do you think that will happen?
Yes, of course, we will improve since we have different experiences, best players around the world. And even now we see Newcastle fans will be watching the Saudi League. Even the European will watch the league. I think it's improving day by day. And with this experience, players will improve. But we have to give chance for the Saudi Arabia at first so we can improve the national team.
How far can the Saudi League go? Because obviously I'm being biased. I would say probably England number one. I know we've got France, we've got Germany, we've got Italy. How far, 5 years or whatever, how far can Saudi go?
Yeah, I agree with you. For me, the Premier League is always number one. But Saudi Arabia, that can be at top 5. Where currently maybe the Germany league, it's only one horse league. Yeah, and in France, it's only Paris Saint-Germain. So I think Saudi Arabia can be top 3. Yeah.
I think definitely with that. If we just look a little bit over there, we've got a protest happening at the moment. It does seem to get, I mean, Sky Sports are there interviewing. There seems to be almost issues with it. Do you think they're deserved? Do you think they're not? How do you kind of feel with that? Because obviously it does seem to be highlighted a lot.
Yeah, I don't think it's deserved. I think maybe there is unfair all around the world. If we focus on only one thing, we should not be biased like this to only focus on Saudi Arabia. There is a lot of problems around the world. I think Saudi Arabia are improving day by day. They are looking for any issues and solve it.
Yeah, you mentioned improving day by day, which is obviously something everything should do, progressive and stuff like that. Do you think with the influx of football and the spotlight on, do you think that might help anything with?
Yeah, for sure. I think football made everyone knows each other, knows about different culture. And when we know about different culture, maybe we'll understand each other and maybe we will help each other.
Yeah, so have you come specifically from Saudi just for this match, or are you here for the next few days? Or
I'm actually leaving on Tuesday, going back to Kuwait.
And how have you found England? How have you found Newcastle as well?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I have traveled all over the United Kingdom. I think it's very perfect because I'm in love with football. Yeah. So even on international duty, I'm coming here.
Yeah, perfect. And obviously there's a link with Saudi Arabia. Obviously that's why we're probably here. How would you describe that? Is there a fan base of Newcastle United in Saudi Arabia? Has that grown? Is it not really existing?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of Saudi Arabian support in Newcastle now. I think people who don't have a club in England, they will be supporting Newcastle. I see a lot of soft spots for Newcastle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And what's your thoughts on the ownership of Newcastle as well? How far can you see Newcastle going? Obviously, the very ambitious owners, they're talking about eventually getting, well, in the Champions League, but getting top 1, winning everything. How do you see Newcastle's growth going?
Yeah, I think the atmosphere was bad back to days of Mike Ashley. Yeah, there were a lot of protests around. But since Saudi Arabia came around, Newcastle before, they were in the relegation battle, and actually they won the championship, I think, in 2015. But now they are back in the Champions League, but a tough group.
Yeah, the group of death almost.
Yeah, death group.
Right, okay, so we're here with?
Iyad.
And Iyad, how far have you travelled for this game?
I travelled 5 hours.
5 hours, okay. What's your expectations for this game as well? It's a tough match.
So what I think is it's going to be 2-0 or 1-0 to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and you're here at St James's Park. Have you been in England before? Have you been in Newcastle before?
Yes, but not Newcastle. England, definitely.
No. What's your thoughts of the stadium as well, St James's Park?
It's very nice and big.
Yeah.
I like it.
Newcastle have got Saudi Arabian owners. Is there a big fan base of Newcastle?
Not really.
No?
I think most of the Saudi Arabians like Newcastle now after they bought it.
Yeah, fantastic. And then obviously you guys have got an amazing league at the moment in Saudi. A lot of superstars, a lot of progression. How are you a fan of the Saudi Arabian league? You a big fan?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I know most of the players like Salem, Al Awais, Al Mayouf, and yeah, and I'm feeling very confident this match. I think we're definitely gonna win.
Yeah, and who's your favourite players?
Salem Al Dosari.
Got a little tone. So we're here with,
Billy. Bobby.
and what brought you to the match today?
One of my dad's mates found out and we got some tickets off him.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just wanted to see it and enjoy it.
Yeah, so obviously it's international break, there's no football in Newcastle. Is this a kind of nice little fill-out? Would you like to see this happen more regularly?
Yeah.
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 What's your thoughts on the result as well? Obviously it's a tough game for Saudi Arabia. Are you leaning more towards supporting Saudi Arabia or more Costa Rica?
I reckon it's going to be like 2-1 to Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, yeah.
2-1 to Costa Rica.
Who would you want to win?
I don't know really. I don't really support any of them, but
Yeah.
it'll be a good game for them both, won't
Yeah,
it?
just going for the full experience then, yeah? Yeah, so Newcastle are owned by Saudi Arabia. There seems to be a good relationship going. Do you reckon that'll continue to develop?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, would you like to see more, if there was more matches, would you come to more, do you reckon?
Yeah, because we don't really live that far away, do we? No. It's about half an hour away.
All right, okay, perfect. And then Newcastle as well, Champions League draw. How far can we get in the Champions League draw as Newcastle fans?
I'm reckoning like coming last. They've got the death group stages like Milan, PSG and Dortmund. It's right. I'm guessing we're going to get it to the semi-finals and Newcastle will always be the best team.
And then where we're going to finish in the league?
Oh, I'm guessing about top 5.